Quite a number of my friends and investors have been investing into Palantir, thinking it's the number one AI data stock, but they are forgetting about Snowflake that's backed by Warren Buffett. And more importantly, I believe there's a true number one AI data company that is behind the scene, which no one is finding out yet. So in this video, I'll be sharing with you a number of things. Number one, an overall recap of the AI sectors that we spoke about in my last video. Let's talk about exactly, should we still invest into Palantir right now? Is it a good opportunity? I'm also going to talk about Snowflake, which is deemed as the biggest competitor to Palantir. And finally, I'll be disclosing my number one AI stock. I believe right now there's a small window of opportunity that is undervalued and no one has really discovered its powers yet. Do let me know in the comments below if AI stocks is something you're interested in so that I can do more of such videos. In my previous video, we talked about the AI sectors and why investing in the AI hardware sector is an opportunity. I used the example of Sophia, the AI robot, and how Will Smith is trying to date her. And we can see from that particular scenario, the function of AI has 5 particular sectors we can invest in. Number one, the hardware sector. And in the previous video, we dive deep into it. You can watch the video right above. When we talk about hardware, we're talking about things like Nvidia and also microchips, Intel, TSM, and so on. Now, in sector 2, we talk about the thinking and logic behind the software. So while the sector is the brain, the software is the thinking. And software, the example will be ChatGPT. Sector number 3 is a subset of the software. That's where data analytics and decision making comes in. So Palantir is the biggest name right now. In this video, we'll be deep diving into understanding why is that and what exactly does Palantir do. Number 4, robotics and automation. That's where we see the physical form of AI coming to life. So in the example, when we use Sophia dating Will Smith, the physical form of Sophia, the body movement, the winking of the eyes, these are robotics and automation. And number 5, very important sector, cybersecurity, the immunity of the whole entire AI and the robotics. It's something that plays a very big role and there's a huge opportunity for investors. So in my last video, we talked about Teradyne, and since then it has gone up by 2 to 3%, no big deal because in 2 weeks, anything can happen. So don't be too happy yet, but I believe that these companies will give us explosive growth in the next 2 to 3 years because that's where the AI boom is happening. The decision-making function that AI can provide. And the biggest stock right now that everyone is talking about in this sector is none other than Palantir. If you have invested into Palantir, let me know in the comments why and how confident you are that Palantir will continue to boom for the next 2, 3, or even 10 years. Now, this is a quick snapshot of Palantir's financials. You can see since 2018 all the way to 2023, it has gone from $500 million to $2.2 billion. There's a huge growth. And the market cap right now is $54 billion. One of its greatest competitor that we're going to talk about in this video is Snowflake. It has a market cap of $53 billion, which is $1 billion lesser than Palantir. However, its revenue is $2.8 billion, which is $6 billion more. We can see that Snowflake is of a much better value than Palantir at this moment in time. Great news about Palantir, it's given positive net income $200 million. So that's where we can see the share price went up due to the confidence of investors. But is it really a good investment right now? Is the company sound? Will its competitors overtake it? You can see that Palantir is held by these investors: Jim Simons, Cathie Woods, Ray Dalio, Mario Gabelli, a number of well-known. And Snowflake is held by Warren Buffett, George Soros, Ray Dalio as well. It's going to be very interesting to see the difference between these two companies. Palantir has a total revenue increasing from 500 million all the way to 2.2 billion. As you have seen, their commercial market is contributing 400 million in the total revenue, which means the government sector is contributing 1.7 billion. The huge bulk of their revenue still comes from the government sector. Now, this is a good thing because a huge chunk of cash is coming from a stable paymaster that is recurring. But the key to Palantir continuing to grow their business will still be in the commercial sector, which is a lot bigger. So what exactly does Palantir do? When we visit the website, we can see AIP, Foundry, Gotham, Apollo, and AIP boot camps. I spent hours trying to understand exactly what they do, and this is my best attempt to explain. If you're an expert in this area, please do help us by commenting below whether my analogies and my examples are right or wrong. I'm going to first focus on Foundry and Gotham, which is the key cornerstone of their business and their flagship software. That's how they make bulk of their money. The difference between Gotham and Foundry is Gotham serves the government sector mainly, and Foundry serves the commercial sector. The function of what they do is similar. As I was trying to understand what Palantir do, I found this term called anthology. They talk about the three different layers from semantic, kinetic to dynamic, and I don't understand a word of it. Therefore, I went to my trusty friend Google and tried to understand what ontology means. In simple terms, ontology is a branch of physics, which is a branch of philosophy that deals with studying being, existence, and reality, blah, 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 blah. I got no idea what it means. So I went and asked ChatGPT gave me a better analogy and helped me understand it. So this is the example it gave me. Imagine you want to run a library. The first layer or the semantic layer is to organize the books into different categories and give them the proper tagging so that you know where to find the information. It's like a huge database that's very well organized. Now, there are many software that can do that. You can talk about Airtable, Excel spreadsheet. The powerful thing about Palantir is the layer 2 and layer 3. In layer 1 semantic, the information doesn't really move that much. The book, once it's categorized as, let's say, business category, it will stay there, and the number assigned to it will remain largely the same. Kinetic, that's where things becomes interesting. Going back to the example of the library, now there are people borrowing books. Andy comes and borrow this book for 2 weeks, Mary borrow it for the next 3 weeks, and John is late in returning a book, so there's a library fine. Now, all these moving parts adds information to the whole entire database. These are live data that's changing almost every second. Imagine a huge library with millions of people coming in and out every single day. Level 3 is where it gets even crazier. Dynamics level 3 is where the software takes the data that is live, start to analyze them, predict, and suggest decisions. So imagine you returning book at the library and they start to recommend you the next series of book based on your particular action, based on new books coming to the library to match your preference and what you need. So think of Amazon. You'll see things like top picks for you or inspired by your browsing history. These are examples of level 3 dynamics, and it is built on level 2 and level 1. I hope this helps in the explanation, and let's see one of the use cases that Palantir is helping the government do. Defense. You can see a screenshot of Palantir software, and going back to level 1 semantic, that's where data is put into the software, explaining the battlefield, the map, the number of soldiers, feeding Palantir software with the current information and tagging them, organizing them into something that is meaningful. Layer 2 kinetic, that's where the soldiers start moving, enemies start firing. All this live data goes into the software. Every time a soldier moves from one point to the other point, information changes. So here comes the crazy part. Level 3 dynamics. You can see from the particular screenshot, there are recommendations by Palantir on the course of actions. They generated 3 courses of action based on level 1 and level 2, and they are suggesting course of action 1, target with air assets. This means flying your plane over, bombing the enemy. Course of action 2, target with long-range artillery. And course of action 3, target with tactical team. So Palantir is being your additional brain to tell you what to do during wartime. Can you see how powerful and how much it can contribute in a tense situation like war? So map over this particular capability, not just to the military, but to, let's say, healthcare or even banking, finances, business decision. This is what Palantir's Foundry and Gotham do. Again, Gotham is for the government sector and Foundry is for the commercial sector. But I was impressed with what Palantir can do. Let's take a look at their other revenue sectors, which is slightly smaller but still contributes to the whole overall game plan of it. Apollo is not the chocolate biscuit that I ate when I was young. Apollo is in fact a software that helps to maintain and optimize Foundry and Gotham. So using the library example, Apollo is the librarian, helping the library maintain its organization and making sure it's in tip-top condition. So in other words, Apollo is the software that acts like a software engineer, which maintains the software. But it makes sense, doesn't it? After I sell the software, you need maintenance. I sell you the maintenance. Finally, let's take a look at AIP. AIP stands for Artificial Intelligence Platform. They have launched it, and this platform is a no-code development environment. Okay, what it means is it is helping their customers create their own customized library. And that library that you build, it's AI-powered as well because it's backed by Palantir's ontology and the logic and all the algorithm that they have. So overall, do let me know whether this helps explain what Palantir is. And I feel that there's a need to explain this because many of my friends invested into Palantir. When I ask them what Palantir does, they begin to have sweaty palms, shifty eyes because they actually don't know what it does. Quick recap, this is Palantir's financial results, and I think it is looking pretty good, but not so much for a value investor who wants to see good track records in terms of their net income, but their revenue does shows that it is a strong company. And remember, the bulk of it comes from the government sector, which I believe will be recurring for the next 10 to even 20 years because there's so much sensitive data within the software, it is not easy to switch over. But in a high-tech environment right now, there's no 100% guarantee of that. We have seen it so many times. Next year, there will be a new kid on the block, and they may be the next big thing. In terms of valuation for Palantir, because it's pre-earnings or they just created their first net income in 2023, I prefer to look at price to book, which is my favorite way of valuation method. So for price to book, typically I like to look at 5 years versus current, and we can see that they do not have enough data to produce a 5-year price to book average. But just looking at the past price to book from 32 all the way to a low of 5.59, it is pretty unpredictable. I may be buying just $1,000 worth of stocks or using a long-term call option. But before you decide to invest into Palantir, let's take a look at their closest competitor, Snowflake, held by Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett made a fast $800 million on its IPO. Now, before we continue, I want to say that I do not think it's a decision made by Warren Buffett because it does not match his principles of investing. Very likely, it's an investment made by Berkshire Hathaway by the other investors. And also, right now, quick update, if you buy Snowflake, you're buying at a price below what Berkshire Hathaway bought. The thing about Snowflake is, why I read a lot of reports saying that it's the closest competitor to Palantir, I don't really think so. But Snowflake's function is way below what Palantir can offer. Snowflake is a database management system on cloud. Going back to the example and analogy of the library, it is just like a very huge magical library that's very well organized, and you can expand the library anytime. And when there are visitors wanting to read a book, you can even create a special private room for them to read a book. In other words, Snowflake is just level 1 semantic portion of the ontology compared to that of Palantir. Helps to collect and organize data in a very efficient manner. So I don't think that Snowflake is a direct competitor to Palantir, but could it also be a good investment opportunity? So looking at the finances in 2019, it's making $96 million in revenue, and right now it's making $2.8 billion. It's a huge growth. The thing about Snowflake is it has not been making any income, and recently, the confidence of investors is being shaken as Snowflake CEO steps down for unknown reasons. Overall, just for fun, if let's say we do not know which stock to invest in, but we are thinking, should we follow Cathie Woods or Warren Buffett? This is my thought process. Let's take a look at their track records. The past 5 years had been crazy, but if you invest in ARKK, it will only be 0.73%. It went all the way up, came all the way down. Most of your returns have been wiped out. But for BRK, you'll be making a whopping 14.69%. If you have invested in ARK for the past 3 years, you have lost 27%, while in Berkshire Hathaway, you will be making 15.91%. So for those who tell me value investing is dead, show me the money. That was just for fun, and it's not to say that we should invest into Snowflake just because Warren Buffett is investing, nor just throw our money to Palantir because some other investors are investing in it. To end off this video, I want to share with you the number 1 AI data stock that I myself have been investing in. You can see Palantir is held by great investors like Cathie Woods, Jim Simons, and Snowflake is held by investors like Warren Buffett, George Soros. Why not invest in this particular AI data company that is held by Warren Buffett and even Cathie Woods? Very seldom do I see both Warren Buffett and Cathie Woods holding similar companies. And this company is none other than Amazon. Before you become disappointed, let me show you why Amazon is the number 1 AI data stock. As I was researching into Palantir software, one of the strongest competitor and alternative to Palantir's Foundry is AWS Glue. I've never heard of it until I researched on this, but it basically does what Palantir does. You can see that AWS Glue has a 4.2 stars rating out of 5, while Palantir's Foundry only has a 4.1 out of 5 stars. The data point is not really huge, but when I read more on the reviews of AWS Glue versus Palantir Foundry, there's a lot more positive reviews on AWS, especially in terms of pricing. Many users say that Palantir is too expensive, the price is too high. While for AWS Glue, most of them say that it's affordable, price is overall low, it's not expensive. So remember, Palantir's growth engine right now is to focus on their commercial sector, and AWS Glue is one of the biggest alternatives. And besides that, Amazon has a huge range of data analytics services that matches Palantir's or even surpass them. So who will win? A small startup like Palantir or a great giant like Amazon? In my opinion, regardless who wins, Amazon still wins, because I realized that they are also into partnership. So in fact, the biggest winner in the AI data space, it's still these 3 big companies: Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. And you can see companies like Palantir and Snowflake having to work with them. Isn't that a greatest insult? Think about it, you're Palantir and Amazon is one of your greatest competitor, but you have no choice but to use its services to provide your service. So in my opinion, the number one AI data stock right now, it's none other than Amazon. Why not Microsoft or Google? It's because Amazon is offering a good valuation. Looking at the price to book ratio, for the past 5 years, average is 11.9 and right now it's 9.02. So in conclusion, the true big winner in the AI data space is Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. And right now, I'm going in for Amazon because of the valuation and what they can offer. Huge disclaimer, I'm vested. You should do your own homework. This is for educational purposes. And do let me know in the comments if you like videos like this. Remember to subscribe, like this video. It will help in the algorithm of YouTube to push this video to more people and to serve you with more of such videos. I'll see you in the next video. Together, next level.